The idea of self-care doesn't have to mean that you're selfish, and it might even sound more like a millennial buzzword than a practice that you should prioritize. Today, I'm going to share with you the importance of practicing self-care, especially for older adults, and 4 tips that you can start implementing right now without feeling guilty about it, because it's not selfish. In fact, it ends up being selfless. So stay tuned. My name is Cyn Meyer, the founder of Second Wind Movement, and as a life coach for older adults, I help people every day transition into retirement. I help people struggling to find a clear way to have a fulfilling and purposeful life. As someone who has the privilege of working with people from all walks of life, I've noticed that the baby boomer generation specifically seriously lacks this one important factor in their life of self-care. Not only is this generation in particular prone to taking care of everyone and everything else first, it's so easy to get caught up in only taking care of others and only taking care of your to-do list and your daily responsibilities. And I'll bet $1 that you've probably been doing this your entire life. And the reason why it's so easy to ignore your needs is because the only one accountable for them is you. Which is fine if you're happily getting by in survival mode, but over time you start to crave this thriving mode. You are designed to grow and learn and develop throughout your whole life. So if you have that itch to be more satisfied and fulfilled, taking time to focus on yourself is not selfish. It's the best gift you can give to both yourself and others, because when your cup isn't full, you can't fill up others. So let's dive into the 4 best ways to incorporate more self-care into your life today. Number 1, make the time. Literally prioritize self-care by scheduling it into your calendar, just like you would a doctor's appointment. Self-care is the one thing that will help you age gracefully and live a long, happy, healthy life. But it's not easy when you're always busy or distracted with other things that eat up most of your time. That's why I'm such a huge fan of including self-care in your morning routine. If you can't do it in your morning routine, at the very least, I recommend scheduling in some me time every day, even if it's just 5 to 10 minutes. Because if you don't plan for it, it probably won't happen. Also, let's quickly call out some ideas for self-care. It can run the whole gamut from physically taking care of yourself to mentally, spiritually, and emotionally taking care of yourself. The physical stuff I consider survival mode self-care activities, like getting enough rest, taking care of your body or your skin, going for a walk, exercising, taking a physical break to sit in your garden or watch the birds, treating yourself to a spa day or a haircut or something like that. Something physical where you pay attention to what your body needs. The invisible self-care activities, the emotional, mental, and spiritual side, can include activities like journaling, reading, praying, meditating, calling a close friend, going for a walk in nature, just spending some time with one of your top passions or your favorite hobbies. All of that stuff that makes you feel energetically good, that's what I consider the self-care that's emotional or spiritual or mental. And if you're unsure of what those things are, like your passions, taking the time to explore and learn about what your passions and your true interests are is so important. It's so important to be intentional about including at least one daily self-care activity that nourishes you, like the real authentic you, no matter how small it is. This is the tiny stuff in the background that most people don't take the time to prioritize, that will give you the most energy cumulatively over the long term. So if you do this every day, I guarantee you, your life will change in one of the best ways possible. I see it all the time. But you've got to be consistent with it, which brings us to tip number 2. Start with one self-care practice. If you make a big change to your lifestyle, you probably won't stick to it. This is exactly why New Year's resolutions are so difficult to see all the way through to the end of the year. In fact, I'm not even a fan of New Year's resolutions, and I actually recommend breaking it down to new months or even better, new days resolutions. In other words, start by choosing one self-care practice and weave it into your daily routine. If you're wondering where to start, because self-care can take on so many different forms, try to think of activities that promote either your health or like a natural inner joy. And sometimes you won't even know until you try. And sometimes you won't know that spark until you make it part of your routine. Some things that you can try are set aside 20 minutes each morning and night where there are no screens allowed at all. These things are addictive and distracting and hence a little draining on your energy level and your mental health. Or you could block off 20 minutes before bed for reading a book that you've been meaning to get to. Okay, so some other ideas are take a hot bath. This triggers your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the opposite of fight or flight. Take a daily walk around the block to decompress. Keep a gratitude journal where you write about specific things that you are grateful for, and then you allow yourself to go in really deep on each of them. There's an endless list of activities that could help you recharge your batteries, and I want to iterate an important detail here. It's going to be unique to you. It's less about what activity it actually is, and it's more about having the consistency built into your daily life, where you actually give yourself the chance to feel a certain way every day, taking care of yourself, showing up for yourself, connecting with yourself authentically. This daily practice is hugely important. And if you're looking for inspiration or ideas, download our free ebook that offers 101 ideas for what to do in retirement. Just use the ideas in there, not as a checklist, but as a resource to inspire your own ideas. Pay attention to what naturally lights you up and just follow that spark. Once you have your one daily self-care practice in place, keep it super basic so that you make it a daily habit. After a few weeks, observe any positive changes, and at that point, you can add in more when you feel ready. The gist here is to keep it simple and take it one micro step at a time. And then you'll be ready for our tip number 3. Keep track of what works. It's tough to create new habits, even if they're good for you. A great way to make sure that you turn it into a consistent daily habit is to keep track of your new self-care practices. Log your activity. For example, if you have a goal of eating healthier or losing weight, and you want to turn this habit into more than just sporadic activities, keeping a food journal and logging what you eat on a sheet that's conveniently in the kitchen every day, every meal is a game changer for the results that you get. Not only does tracking your progress make you feel more accomplished, but you'll also get a better understanding of what's working and what isn't, which makes any process less overwhelming and so much easier to tackle. Tracking helps you see what the heck is actually going on. By becoming more conscious of your thoughts and feelings during these activities, you'll learn exactly how they impact you. And it's truly important to understand which activities actually energize you and which deplete your energy. This specific clarity of seeing what's on your energizing list versus your draining or depleting energy list is the number one secret in my book to boosting your energy throughout your whole life. Which brings us to tip number 4, learn when to say no. Sometimes one of the most difficult aspects of self-care is knowing when to say no, especially if you're so used to taking care of responsibilities and other people in your to-do list. But saying no is a critical life skill. The trick to saying no without hurting anyone's feelings is being honest with yourself about your needs and your priorities. It's all about setting healthy boundaries, which means it's okay to practice not worrying about people's feelings first or coming off as rude. Because if you're not honest with yourself and you keep giving over time, what you don't want to happen is you hit a wall and then you really end up being rude or unable to take care of someone else. So it's a better scenario to be kind of worried about letting someone down right now, to step into a better version of yourself than to totally letting someone down later as a worse version of yourself. You don't have an infinite amount of energy, but there is a way to boost your energy. You deserve to spend it on the things that matter to you. So say no without feeling guilty and reap these benefits of more authentic and honest relationships. Let's recap the 4 best ways to practice self-care in retirement. Number 1, make the time for it. Schedule it into your calendar. Number 2, start with the basics and incorporate just one self-care practice into your daily life. Number 3, keep track of what works and what doesn't work. By logging your progress, it can make all the difference. Number 4, respect your boundaries and practice saying no. Please follow our tips and take a step back and think about what's really important to you. You are unique and so are your needs. Every day is an opportunity for growth. You just need to give yourself the chance to take it. If you have enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share it with your loved ones. And if you'd like some guidance on how to better take care of yourself, or if you just want help turning your ideal retirement life into a reality, schedule a free consultation with one of our trusted team members. In just 1 hour, we can start making an incredible difference with a helpful conversation, because we do this every day, and lay the foundations for an active, healthy, and engaged retirement lifestyle that you deserve. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next video.